Thinking of an intro is probably the hardest thing for me. Hello there. I'm Charity Rose. I'm an artist. I'm a conscious expander, whatever that means. I guess we'll find out. And I am trying something new. I'm making videos now because I feel like there's a part of me that really needs to express itself in another creative way, and this is a really great and accessible avenue because I have a mic, I have a camera, I have a laptop, I have the internet, so it all works out, and I think that's a big part of life is just finding what is fun. It may be a little scary and give you the tingles and make you nervous on the inside, but it's like if you felt excited and then the fear sets in, you know that the excitement came first. And that's what you go for. You kind of just like plow plow right through that fear, and amazing things can unfold. You know how the lotus flower starts in the mud and pushes its way through the murky water and comes out the other side blooming absolutely beautiful, one of the most beautiful flowers on the face of this planet, goes through shit first and then in the light of the sun can bloom. And it's like you hear these things, like you see the yin yang, you see a peace sign, you see a lotus flower, you hear about people who do yoga, and it's like, okay, kind of corny, it's like kind of cliche, but you really get to know these symbols and these practices and like the meaning behind it and why. There is a reason. There is a deep reason, and it's beautiful. It always ends up being so beautiful, Sometimes even the most ugliest things can have the most beautiful gems inside of them that you wouldn't have been able to find otherwise, And so I really wanted to make this first video about a necklace that I made. Here it is. I have it right here. I'll show you. So this is just a pretty simple piece done with copper electroforming for this little guy here. And the stone is blue tiger's eye. The stone also known as falcon's eye and hawk's eye, which I find interesting. I am definitely drawn to this stone. I always am drawn to the tooth claw shaped stones, and I just basically continued that design fairly simply with the copper. And it first came to me in a mixed bag that I ordered from Etsy. Let's not wear this, let's just hold it. And when it came in the bag, I dumped everything because I wanted to look at all of it, and here was this blue tiger's eye, absolutely gorgeous, caught my eye right away, and so I picked it up and I just held on to it for a few days. I kind of like to feel the energy first and then look it up later. It was a couple of months ago when I got the stone. It was probably more than a couple of months ago now. I was at my last job before I got the one that I'm working with now. And it was basically groundskeeper and maintenance through the winter at an apartment complex. And it definitely wasn't my soul's calling to do that, but it definitely taught me a lot of important life lessons. And so it's funny that this stone came to me during that time because what blue tiger's eye, hawk's eye, falcon's eye, whatever you want to call it, the, the energy that comes off of that stone is very strong and powerful, like any predator, predatory bird, predatory tiger. Either way, it's got that power, that raw force behind it that really helps you punch through whatever it is that you feel is blocking you. And blocks are just illusions, but that's the thing, is it's hard to know that when you feel like you're in the grip. So the tiger's eye in general really brings about feelings of taking your power back, which is huge in being able to do what you love to do, craft a life that you actually enjoy, realize that you are not the victim of your circumstances as much as you think. I know that's a whole nother can of worms that I could get into, a whole nother video. I could talk for hours about that. So we're just going to keep it to this stone for now. The falcon's eye, when I found it, helped me feel like I wasn't stuck anymore. And I find it really fascinating that it was called the hawk's eye, because I definitely have some predatory bird, hawk. Actually, I know for sure it's the red-tailed hawk for me specifically, is a power animal of mine, a spirit animal guide of mine. And that whole spirit animal, spirit guide, those kinds of things, angels, those kinds of things definitely have their place. I would definitely encourage you to look up your own information. That could be a whole nother video I could talk hours about. But basically, what it comes down to for me is recognizing the symbols that pop up into your life, and pretty much anything could be considered a symbol. Certain things carry a little bit more weight as far as symbols because of the history behind them and the stories and the involvement of the symbol in human existence. So mine is definitely the hawk, the red-tailed hawk to be specific. And at this apartment complex that I worked for, it, thank goodness, was right up against the foothills, so actually had a ton of nature going through there that I got to experience while I was working outside, either on the sprinkler system or in between buildings, going from job to job if I was painting inside of an apartment or something like that. I definitely took the time to take some deep breaths, look around me, and enjoy the grass, the trees. There's an awesome creek that ran through there, and keep my eye out for any wildlife. I saw so much wildlife, but especially hawks. Almost every day I felt like I saw a hawk. I had special experiences with those hawks on that property, and it was fabulous. And that's why it's really awesome that this stone, the hawk's eye, came in, because what is the difference between a tiger and a hawk? Well, hawks fly. They obviously can fly, so they have a higher vantage point of the land. So that's the point of the hawk's eye, is that it's giving you a more broad perspective of your surroundings so that you can hone in on your target with much more clarity. Very similar to the way a bird of prey lives its life. It's mainly sight driven and is so laser focused on what it wants that it sees it, boom, dives for it and goes right for it, which is just a fabulous way to really help yourself build up the courage and the tenacity to just go for whatever it is, even if it means going away from a job that you hate. It doesn't matter, as long as you're going towards things that bring you more peace, more joy. surround yourself with people that actually celebrate who you are rather than tolerate who you are. That's a really big one too, you know, because everybody can use some good constructive criticism. Trust me on that. But at the same time, you have to see the good in the people around you as well as the good within yourself, and believing in yourself that you deserve happiness, that you are an awesome human being and you can do whatever it takes to be happy. And the blue tiger's eye, the hawk's eye, really showed me that and helped me fly through a sticky situation. And you know, that job, I'm grateful for it now. You know, I'm definitely grateful for it because I see the value that I did glean from an experience like that, and I'm really glad I didn't end up there. But that's kind of the point of this whole thing, is that why settle? Why settle in something that is semi-okay, you know? Are you truly comfortable where you're at? Or are you settling for mediocrity that feels okay? Scram you. Hawk's Eye has a wonderful ability to help one see the larger surroundings. And when you see a larger surrounding, and your vision is literally widened, opened up, you can see things you haven't seen before. You can see doors opening, you can see opportunities present themselves, you can see qualities in people and yourself that you didn't see or make those connections otherwise. I did not realize that I was surrounded by very negative people and a difficult job because I was telling myself that it needed to be that way, and it doesn't have to be that way at all. And we all deserve to be loved. We all deserve to be happy. And being able to find your way when it seems so dark is a beautiful blessing. And the stone is usually golden, which has to do with yellow solar plexus, which is your willpower. Having the blue in there associates it with your throat. And being able to have an open throat means to be able to speak your truth. And the solar plexus is about the willpower. So having the willpower to speak your truth, not only to the people around you on the outside of you, but to yourself as well. Because that's the thing, is the external world is a reflection of our internal world. If we aren't even listening to ourselves, how can we expect the outside world to hear us? Because we can't even hear ourselves, and we are as close to us as we can possibly be. We're closer to ourselves than anybody else in the entire universe, and every single person experiences that. And that is where our unity lies, is knowing that each and every single one of us is having the same experience of me-ness and wanting me and mine to be happy, to thrive, to live and survive and have $1 million if you want it, you know? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's more of why you're doing it. Are you doing it because you're filling a hole that you feel needs to be filled to make yourself feel a sense of self-worth, or do you actually find yourself worthy and full of love and full of abundance, and thus it comes to you? That's really how these things work, you know. Otherwise, we're just fighting way too hard and scared. It's like you can't enjoy. I'm sure you hear this all the time, you know, that those people that don't have money want to have money, and then when they get money, when you have abundance, you are so afraid of losing it or having people take advantage of you. There's a flip side to having of money. That's the thing, is money is absolutely neutral. It's the intention behind it that really makes the difference. You know, if you are poor and you really want to have money, or if you're rich and now you're worried about losing it all, you're fucking miserable either way. So it's sort of up to you to find the value within yourself and fulfill that, and abundance will pour into your life. And I know that for a fact because I'm living proof. I know where I've been, and I have been on the bottom. I have been on the bottom. I have been homeless before. I have done a lot of things that I absolutely regret that brought me into really terrible places in my life, and I've been into the darkness. I've been there, and I know what it feels like to be so depressed you can't even get out of bed for months and months and months and months and months, and credit cards start piling up, medical bills start piling up. I couldn't even go to school. I had to drop out for a semester because I couldn't do it. I was so down, and my life has been a journey up ever since. It's more of a journey in, which brings me up. Funny how that works. Anyways, so this job with this stone was a huge turning point for me. I had just read Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth, and that really opened my eyes to the fact that I am not my thoughts. We are not our thoughts. We are much deeper than that. We are the space in which all of this happens. We are the conscious awareness in which envelops every experience that we experience. That's what it is. That is why we are able to be. And we are on the edge of the universe, and we're turning it around on ourselves, like looking at ourselves, like turning our conscious awareness back on ourselves and seeing, what are we truly, deeply, deep down, what are we? It's more of an experience rather than something you can talk about. It's you don't have to go looking for it. Everyone has it because everyone is it. And that's where we get confused, is we put ourselves in a label. Basically, we pour ourselves into a box and label it teacher, mother, employee, boss, whatever, artist. That's the thing, is we are so much deeper than any label can ever express, because we are the container in which all is contained. We are the space of consciousness, awareness. We are the intelligence of the universe, and imbued in a physical form. And that's why this three-dimensional reality is so distracting from the things that go deeper than that, because it's like, oh, well, things can't go deeper than this solid form, like, and if it does, we have to dissect it, we have to pull it apart. And it's like, well, can you dissect energy? Can you pull apart and examine the way a room feels? No, you can't. So at least not yet, anyways. So I guess me talking about these stories is basically what Blue Tiger's Eye has done for me. It has brought me through the darkness on wings of clarity. I feel like I when I have this stone, I feel drawn up and my vision widened, and I can see so much clearer the world around me, the reality experience that I am witnessing, the scope of my conscious awareness. And so that's the wonderful thing, is you can do all of this without a stone. The stones are yes, they are placebo effects. They do that for people. They also have their own energy, and that took me a while to come to terms with. I definitely feel the energy of stones, and I can't deny it anymore. That's why I'm making this video, because I feel stones like how you feel when your pet wants something from you. You know, yes, they could like stare at you or whatever, but like you feel what they need if you're listening, and that's kind of how stones are. It's much more subtle than you think, because you can't think about it. You have to let go of thought. You have to let go of any preconceived notions, and you just have to be an open vessel. And when you're an open vessel, messages come, and they can come in the form of a thought, they can come in the form of a feeling, they can come in the form of a smell or a sound. It doesn't really matter, you know. It's when you let it go and allow yourself to be, you become an open vessel, and thus can receive energy on a more subtle level. I am a lover of stones, and I want to share that with you. I want to share my personal experiences with you so that you can get a more rounded view of what crystals can do for you. And it all is so unique to each individual. And that's why I feel like expressing my personal story is so important, because stories have a wonderful way of connecting us all to something bigger than ourselves, and it's a beautiful way of expressing our experiences, and I want to utilize that. I want to use that. I do have an artist page. Here it is. I'll put it on the screen, and yeah, check out my artwork, and I hope that these videos find a use to you. And of course, the pieces that I make, every single piece that I make is going to be for sale on my Etsy for you to enjoy. So if any of this resonated with you, if you were drawn to this video, something's resonating with you with this stone, which means find a piece, see what it's about, and give it a try. Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for being here with me. All right. Take care. I'm gonna get on with my day.